So, good day. The topic I will be presenting is about introduction to electric motor control. So, in this presentation, I will discuss the basics of electrical safety, three-phase power, disconnects and protective devices, and three-phase motor. So, let's start with the segment 1, electrical safety. So we will focus on electrical safety. The objectives are explain the importance of the equipment ground connection, describe the function of 5 common standards associated with electrical control, describe 10 basic rules of electrical safety, describe the purpose of the lockout-tagout system used in industry. And for the segment 2, three-phase power, describe the operation of three-phase power, describe the two most common three-phase voltage systems, explain the function of neutral, and lastly, describe the operation of grounded and ungrounded systems. So for the segment 3, disconnects and protective devices, describe two devices used to disconnect power to a circuit, explain why time delay fuses are used with motor starting circuits, describe three important factors to consider with overcurrent protection devices, and for the segment 4, describe the motor operation of a three-phase motor, describe the operating data on a motor's nameplate, and lastly, define service factor and explain its importance. So for the purpose of equipment grounding, before we dive into grounding, let's review some key terms. So for the number 1, voltage is the difference in electric potential, often called electromotive force, so EMF, and represented with the variable E. Transformer is a device that converts AC electricity from one voltage level to another. And lastly, current is simply the flow of electric charge in a circuit. So purpose of equipment grounding. Equipment grounding means connecting all metallic parts of an electrical system such as conduit, raceways, enclosures, and transformer cases to the earth. This is done using a grounding conductor and a ground electrode. The purpose is to keep voltage at a safe level and reduce the risk of electrical shock. So next is shock hazards. So hazard means any source of risk or potential damage, harm, or adverse health effects on a person. Resistance is a property of a conductor where it opposes or resists the movement of current in the conductor, equal to the voltage across the conductor divided by the current flowing in the conductor, usually measured in ohms. So when a live conductor touches an ungrounded metal chassis, the chassis becomes energized. If a person touches it, their body may complete the circuit and conduct current to the ground. This can lead to serious injury or even death. That's why grounding is essential. So, for the table, this table shows why proper grounding is important. The table shows the probable effects of a various amount of a current on the body. So this table shows how dangerous electrical current can be. Even a very small current as low as 100 milliamps or 0.1 amp can be fatal. This reminds us that electrical safety should be never be ignored. So for the electrical safety standard such as NEC, NEMA, IEC, UL, and OSHA so let's start with NEC, or the National Electrical Code, is the primary guide in the US for safe installation of electrical system. So for the NEMA, sets motor control standards used mainly in the US. IEC standards are widely accepted internationally, so even US companies adopt IEC devices to compete globally. Next one is UL is an independent organization that tests and certifies products for safety. Devices without UL certification usually cannot be used. And for the OSHA, or the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, is a division of the U.S. Department of Labor. OSHA establishes and enforces all rules concerning the health and safety of workers in the workplace. This includes all electrical or other maintenance workers. So OSHA enforces workplace safety rules including electrical safety for workers. So next, electrical safety rule. There are 10 basic safety rules to follow. Number 1 is remove metal jewelry. Always check the conditions before working on a piece of equipment. Do not rely on safety devices. Never remove the grounding prongs from plugs. And always keep tools organized. Additionally, never work on wet floors. If possible, work with one hand. Move carefully and deliberately. Do not work alone. And finally, avoid any distractions. So for the lockout tagout, one of the greatest dangers to a mechanic, electrician, or technician is to have someone else unknowingly power up the piece of equipment on which they are working. OSHA requires the locking out of all power sources such as electrical, mechanical, pneumatic, hydraulic, and etc. that can be locked out to prevent this possible danger during servicing or maintenance. In fact, OSHA requires all companies to develop a lockout-tagout procedure and to train the employees on that procedure. The lockout-tagout procedure is actually a combination of two processes. So, what is the purpose? One major risk is when someone unknowingly powers up equipment under maintenance. That's why OSHA requires a lockout-tagout system. Lockout means physically blocking the power source using locks or chains. So, for the further definition, lockout is the process of blocking the energy flow from a power source to a piece of equipment and assuring that it remains blocked. So, tagout means attaching a warning that says, "Do not operate." The rule is that only the person who applied the lock or tag is allowed to remove it. In situations where many workers are involved, multiple locks are used, so power cannot be restored until everyone's lock is removed. So that is the illustration of the lockout tagout system application in the industry. So for the production of three-phase power, three-phase power is electrical power transmitted in three separate phases. An alternator that has three main windings operating 120 degrees apart, creating the three phases. Therefore, the electrical energy produced as the rotor rotates is also in three phases that are 120 out of phase with each other. So, versatility of three-phase system. This system is very versatile. It can supply both single phase and three phase voltages, making it highly efficient. That's why three phase power is used for most of the world's power transmissions. So for the basic three-phase transformer configuration, transformers can be connected in a different configurations, mainly Y and delta system, to provide different voltage levels depending on customer requirements. So the power company determines the type of configuration that a substation uses, the type of distribution system a specific location uses is for the most part selected by the customer according to the type of single phase and three phase load that the location requires. So neutral, conductors, and Y configuration. The most common configuration used at a substation is 4-wire Y configuration. In this configuration, the neutral conductor can be fed from the substation to each customer that the substation serves, providing a complete return path to the source. So in a delta system, sometimes one phase is center tapped and grounded to act as a neutral. This allows multiple voltage levels, but one of these voltages, called the bastard voltage, is unstable and not reliable for all loads. So grounded, neutral, conductors in the Y configuration. So grounded versus ungrounded system. A grounded system shut down automatically during a ground fault because the protection device tripped. On the other hand, an ungrounded system keeps operating if a phase is grounded, which is very risky. So these are the slides. So the advantage of grounded system is balance and safety, while the advantage of ungrounded system is that operations can continue even if one phase is lost. However, ungrounded system also hide faults, making them hazardous. These are the advantage. Large manufacturing facilities often use ungrounded delta system. This system desirable in these applications because it can continue to operate if one of the three phase is lost. Losing a phase will reduce its power delivery capabilities. However, a plant can continue to operate at a reduced capacity until repairs can be made instead of completely shutting down. So hazard of ungrounded system. One problem with ungrounded delta system is that a phase winding can be grounded accidentally without anyone being aware of it. This system can continue to operate in this condition without any harm to the loads. However, according to NEC, requires equipment grounding. Cost of repair versus shutdown cost. Many large facilities install ground fault indicators to notify when a phase becomes grounded. At this point, they might decide to shut down the system and repair the source of the problem. However, many larger companies will continue to operate a system in this condition rather than shut down production to repair the problem. They choose to do this because of the massive cost of shutting down production. They would rather wait for a time when shutting down will be less costly and then correct the problem. Types of disconnected devices. The NEC requires that a motor control circuit have a device to manually disconnect the motor and controller from the line. This device